Okay, hi everybody. We should be starting to roll right now, and we'll just give it a couple seconds, and then we'll start talking about the game-based learning MOOC. Hopefully this is broadcasting. We've tested it out about 3 or 4 times, so I hope it's going. But anyway, it is Monday morning, and welcome to the game-based learning MOOC. We're here in Colorado, and this MOOC is really coming from the Colorado Community College system. And what happened was a few of us got an immersive and game-based learning grant to go ahead and do professional development about game-based learning. So that's really why we're here. And this morning, we were able to send out 258 invites to the MOOC. And I know that might not be as massive as some of the other ones, certainly not as big as Stanford's AI one, but for us and for all the gamers out there and all the educators who game, 258 is pretty cool. I'm Kay Novak, and I'm an instructional designer at Front Range Community College. And I just want to welcome you to the course. And I'm actually right now on Google Hangout Air, and we found that Google Hangout works really well for us, especially when we're playing games and when we want to see what other people are doing. So that's really why we're using this system, so that it really gives you a chance to see and look at what its capabilities are. Now, I'm going to be toggling back and forth between things, so you'll see a little bit of interruption between things, but we'll get through it anyway. And really, when you think about this, I want you to think about how you can possibly use this while you're in the MOOC, because maybe you're somewhere where you can't exactly bring somebody over to the screen to show them what you're playing, so instead you might want to consider doing it through a Google Hangout or even live streaming it. So let's get started and let's take a look at the course. Okay, the first thing I wanted to tell you about our course, even before taking a look at it, is this is really what we're basing it on. What we're basing it on, and this is Dr. Lisa Dolly, what we're basing it on is the social network engagement level. So this is social network knowledge construction. So there's different engagement levels, and we're fine no matter which one you want to do. Okay? Since you're here already, you've hit the first level, so you've identified the network. Now, the second level is lurking, and lurking for us is totally fine. Lurking is learning, okay? So feel free to come in here and lurk, especially if you're new to games and you want to know what games are about. Now, the next level is contribute. That means that you're going on our site, you're posting things in the forum, you're sharing links, and things like that. Now, after that, there's a higher level, and that's creating. And that's really going ahead and creating something, maybe an activity we can play in, or something that we can take a look at. This is maybe creating a screen capture of something. This might just be taking a screenshot, but you're just letting us have a look there. And then the last one, and this is something we really, really want to encourage, especially in game-based and immersive learning, is leading and contributing and collaborating. So these are the different levels, and we'd really like you to go ahead and take a look at them. And hold on a second. Let me toggle around until we get to our site. Okay. Let me go ahead and go back to our site. And for screen share, let's get onto this. And we're going to toggle a little bit more. And let's toggle till we get it. There we go. Let's share that window. And there we are on the Games MOOC. Now, what we're actually using for this is we're actually using a guild site. It's called Shifter. And Shifter has a lot of different components, but you might see the things that are actually familiar to you. We have up here a navigation bar, and Brandon has done a really good video that goes over a lot of the stuff, so I'm not going to bother going over that. But I will tell you, we are currently looking for some recruitment, so go ahead and take a look at those. And then what I really wanted to tell you about was the awards that we're looking at. So since we are on a game site and we are talking about games and gamification and a gaming platform, we're going to do awards. So the different awards, and this is how you can contribute and even create. We're going to give out some awards. First one, Artisan. That's basically best screen capture. And go ahead and click on these to go ahead and see what the different descriptions are. Bard, that's really what's the best journal out there. Next one, Cataclysmic. It's kind of like we'll know it when we see it. And we really think we're only going to be giving out this award once during the MOOC. Whoever just kind of really rocks our world. Now the next one, Collaborator. That's really going in and collaborating with people. The next one, we think that this is a MOOC, only once per MOOC, the best curator. Now, we have other awards like Evolutionary, Fiero, Herald, Leroy Jenkins, Machinima Is, and Tank. So we're going to say, go in there and take a look at these. These are ways that we really think that you can contribute, and since we're gaming anyway, we think we can go ahead and give out the awards when it comes to this. Okay, now we're going to take a look at kind of what we're going to have you do. So if you go to Getting Started, we have week 1 pretty well laid out here. Of course, we want you to go into the forums and introduce yourself. And then we want you to take a look at who we kind of have here for you already. Now, we have guild officers and we have a council. And yes, we are totally taking up the gaming and the guild theme. So for your guild officers, we have 4 facilitators there. We have myself, we have Lee Dale, we have Grasshopper98, and Beth. If you notice, we're using screen names. Feel free when you come in here to put in a screen name, but go ahead and introduce yourself anyway. Then, the other thing that we're having here under the Guild Council, these are really people that we've been working with in games and virtual worlds. And these are people who will be coming in, helping contribute, help advise us, and help us with other things like that. So go ahead and take a look and see who these people are. Now, for your week 1 activities, I know we have varying levels in this MOOC. Okay? So we're always going to have some very basic things, then we're going to have some intermediate things, and then at the end, we're going to have some things that are really for people who are gamers already. Like I said, you pick what you want to do and what you want to learn. That's what a MOOC's about. A MOOC is about connectivism. It's about connecting with other people in your profession. It's discussing things. It's talking to the other educators, hooking up with and seeing who else is maybe teaching math. What games are they using? Who's teaching social studies? Who might be actually looking to use this for calculus? Where exactly different people are. So we're going to ask you to go into the forum and introduce yourself. And then we have some games for you to play. We have some websites for you to look at. We're going with a serious games theme for this week. We're also looking at what's out there when it comes to games-based learning. And game-based learning isn't like a year or 2 old. It's been out there for a while. So why is it becoming more popular right now? Then there was this great video from about 2 or 3 weeks ago from James G. he was doing the keynote for the Games for Change. And the minute he started live streaming this, for me, my IMs just started popping. And a lot of us who are on the Guild Council started all watching it and IMing each other back and forth all about this. So we're kind of going to be ending with that. And we do have synchronous events. We'll have synchronous events every week. One of them is like that we're having today. So we'll be doing Monday morning chats. And we'll hopefully have more people on as the weeks go by. And then on Wednesday, if you've ever been on Twitter before, you might have seen something called a tweet chat. That's where everybody goes on Twitter at a designated time and they use a hashtag. We're going to be doing that, and we're going to be doing that on Wednesday evenings. And it's going to be 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Remember, we're in Colorado, so we'll be using Mountain Standard Time. And so what we'll be doing is we'll be having a tweet chat on Wednesday. Then on Thursday, we're going to be doing guest speakers and live discussions. Okay, this week, we're really lucky. We're asking you all to watch Jim G's keynote, but then we have 3 discussants. Those discussants are Marianne Malmstrom, also known by many in the gaming community for what she does with kids with Minecraft and World of Warcraft and Lego Universe, and her screen name is, she's known as No Clue Kid. The next person we're having is the infamous Peggy Sheehy, and she is from WoW in Schools. And if you happen to go to the International Society of Technology and Education Conference, she was in the opening session. And then, last but definitely not least, we have Braun Stuckey from Quest Atlantis, that wonderful virtual world civics community for kids. Okay? And what we're going to have them do is actually, we're going to watch Jim G's keynote. Well, you'll be watching it ahead of time. And then we're going to be talking about really what he means by what he calls Big G games. And we'll be doing this every Saturday. For our gaming laboratory, we're going to give you some games you can play on your own, or you can get onto Google Hangout and play with some other people. But then what we're going to do on Saturdays is we're using World of Warcraft really as our virtual field trips. And I know there's lots of other games out there. The reason we're using this one is we're all very familiar with it. And when I mean that, I mean your facilitators and your guild council. And we're going to be using this. Now, it doesn't mean you have to go into World of Warcraft, but we'll be live streaming it so that you can see it. And for this first weekend, this Saturday, if you haven't used World of Warcraft yet, we suggest that you watch us with it. And then the Saturday afterwards, we'll do an orientation for anybody who wants to go ahead and get in with us. So that's an overview pretty much of the week. What I'm going to pull up next is, because this week we're going to concentrate on serious games, we're just going to go over some slides and we're going to talk about what we're doing with serious games. So let me go ahead and go back to Google Hangout. And then I'll go into screen share again, pull it up. There it is. Let me go ahead and we're holding just for a second. We'll get it up here. And hold just 1 second. I seem to be toggling when I shouldn't be. And now this should do it. Okay. So we should be getting ready to play. We're going to toggle the screen one more time. And we're just getting it. And here we go. Okay, so we really have to ask you, are you ready to play? Because we certainly are. And what we're going to be talking about today is we're going to be looking at some serious games. And our overview today really is, what are serious games? What are we trying to do here? How can I use them? And some sample serious games for you guys to go ahead and play. Okay, serious games, definition-wise, are a game with a purpose beyond entertainment. They can be games for learning, games for health, games for change, games for policy. And one of the people that, at least in our MOOC, that we're going to be looking at his work a lot is somebody called Henry Jenkins. He used to be at MIT. He has now gone over to the University of Southern California, and he's done a lot of work. He's got a lot of good stuff, especially up on PBS. And when he's looking at serious games, he's looking at them for exploration, experimentation, and problem solving. And then there's a big vocabulary word we're going to be using throughout all these weeks, and that's the metagame. And serious games, or games altogether, you're harnessing the metagame, basically the active discussion that happens outside the game. Because in World of Warcraft, in Terra, in EVE Online, you know, there's a lot happening in the game, but there's a whole lot more that's happening outside the game. So, we're talking about serious games. What are we really looking at? This is coming from Clark Aldridge, and this is really looking at that space between simulation, game, and pedagogy. And when you're looking at serious game design, as Michigan State puts it, it's somewhere between theory, content, and game design. That's that sweet spot for serious games. Now, when we're looking at serious games, and this is something we're going to be looking at throughout the whole course, and it's also in the participatory culture white paper that we have you skimming through this first week, we're really going to be looking at new literacies. And these new literacies involve these terms. And you see the first term, play. The ability to experiment with your surroundings. And then performance. Can you adopt alternate identities for the purpose of improvisation and discovery? And then simulation, your ability to interpret and construct models of real-world processes. And then appropriation, can you sample meaningfully, and can you remix content? These are literacies that not only our students need, but we also need. Now, here's some others. Multitasking. People tell you you can't multitask. Tell that to a gamer. Distributed cognition. Can you interact meaningfully? Collective intelligence. Can you pull knowledge and compare notes with others towards a common goal? And then the last one, judgment. Can you evaluate the reliability and credibility of different sources? Now, these new media literacies, they mean you are going all over the place. Transmedia navigation. You are looking at the flow. You're going from a blog, you're going to Twitter, you're going to a game, you're watching TV, and you're still pulling it. Networking. Can you search for and synthesize information? And then this last one, negotiation. Can you travel across diverse communities? And can you respect multiple perspectives and understand alternative norms? Now, these are the new media literacies, and we're going to be looking at games and game-based learning to see if you can do that. So here are the game genres. Mini games. Small, easy to access. Guess what? You usually play these on your phones. The other game genre, interactive metrics. Quick simulations. You look at resources, you find You find different ways to allocate the resources. Frame games, you know these, okay? Wheel of Fortune, PowerPoint Jeopardy, okay? When used properly, they're okay. Next one, branching stories, simulations in which students make series of decisions and go from one to the next. They're usually thought of it as quests. Now, Practiceware. These are often real-time 3D simulations, and they're trying to really teach you the skills. The same thing goes with virtual products or a virtual lab. Now, when it comes to all of these games, we are really looking for student engagement in our game-based learning. So, when we're looking for this student engagement and making decisions on these games, we're looking at what's the content, what's the mode of information, is there a metagame out there, and then this cute little word that we have there, CYTIE, or CYTIE, causes you to ignore everything. Okay? Basically, what we're looking at there, we're talking about flow. Now, I don't know where you're located. I don't know if you already use games in your classroom. Go ahead to our discussion forums and let us know whether you do or you don't. But really, when it comes to games, it's usually just vocabulary. Are you talking about a simulation or a game? Really, it depends on what audience you're talking to. Are you talking to your students? Will a simulation sound better, or will a game sound better? We don't usually get mired in that too much. If you need to call it a simulation, call it a simulation. If you need to call it a game, call it a game. And then the next portion of it, depending on who you're talking to, are you calling it engagement, or are you calling it fun? Basically, with us, when it comes to game-based learning, we're just trying to get that deeper learning into the classroom. So we play around with those kind of vocabularies also. So you might be asking how you can use serious games in your classroom. Well, there's a lot of different ways. First of all, if you're going to bring them into your classroom, determine what your objectives are. The next thing is determining what the technology and the computer system requirements are. Are students doing it in the class, or on campus, or on the classroom? Next, you're going to have to use the simulation yourself, because really, when it comes to these kind of things, students will expect that you've done it and you can solve their problems. Okay? So you do have to play the game. But you don't have to solve all of their problems. It is a problem-solving situation. You can take it back to the class, and you can see if anyone else has solved it yet. Okay. Now, when you're developing this, you're really going to be looking at what grading and task rubric is. Students want clear goals and objectives. We found that we like to pre-survey our students to find out what they know about gaming. We also will put the task there so they specifically know exactly what they're gaming for. And then we like to have a discussion and reflection after we have students for your game. Now, we like assigning realistic time frames. If a simulation is too big, we cut it down. We've done this with games like Karma Tycoon, Budget Hero. We like to give students certain frames, tell them exactly how long to play it, so that they don't feel like they have to keep continuing and continuing. We request feedback from our students. We like to post survey. Okay? Now, the thing about it is, if you're doing game-based learning, you might have this idea in your head that all of your students are going to absolutely love the game. They're not. You're going to have some students who think it's the best thing ever. And then you might have this one student who's asking why they're not getting more homework problems. So, whenever we give our students a game, we usually do a post-survey afterwards to try and find out about this. And now, what we're talking about, our students, we're at the community college level. We also do what's called post-secondary classes, so there's high schoolers who are taking classes. So with our students, we do this. Okay, now we have something that we kind of call slowly immersing, because we don't think everybody's going to be able to go in and have every student playing World of Warcraft right off the bat. So what we do is we think about how we want to slowly introduce classes. The first one that works really well for us is icebreakers. Okay, so we use these to introduce a topic, or we use them to stimulate discussion, whether it's a face-to-face or an online class. Then what we also like to do, rather than having the students play the games individually, we like to play them in groups. And we really use these to reinforce class concepts, and also, as much as we possibly can, to assess mastery. What we also like to do is, since they're games, we like to go ahead and we like to put our students into competitions. We break the students into groups, and if we don't already have it in our syllabus, in our curriculum, we use these for extra credits. And we have seen students compete for like 5 extra credit points and get extremely serious about it. We have also set up the computer lab for real-time competitions, and we've also shown them on the smartboard. And the smartboard, that's just one system of showing it projected in the front of the class. And we've done it so teams can share tactics and learn new methods. We've also had students for the competition. We've had students pick a champion, and the rest of the team stays in there, and whoever's going to be the champion for the team has to leave, and we bring each one in one at a time so they can compete that way, and so the rest of the class can see it. So for us, if you're using these serious games, it is also about finding the place, and where exactly is the perfect place for you. Is it on the smartboard or the projector in front of the class? And we do this a lot. We do this like with a game called Free Rice. 10 minutes before the class starts, just pull it up on the board. Either you can start playing it, or you can grab one of your students and they can start playing it. And just have it in that space of time right before class starts. We use it projected during the class. We use it in computer classrooms. We use it in computer commons. And then we found out a lot of times if there is a bandwidth problem, or we can't get IT to necessarily put it on our computers, we have the students play it on their personal computers, whether they be at home or whether they bring laptops in. Now, we have a lot of games for you to go ahead and test. Now, these games, we have 3 of them for you this time. And you can do one or you can do all 3. Now, the first one is Doffer is Dying. And this game is up on a site called Games for Change. And we have that website listed for activities for this week. So go ahead, not only play this game, but go ahead and take a look and see what's on that website. I believe at this point in time it has 111 serious social games that you can go ahead and take a look at. The next one that we would have you taking a look at is something called Eye of the Donkey. Now, Eye of the Donkey is up on a site done by the Nobel Foundation. Yes, the Nobel Prize Foundation is into games. And this is just one of many of their games. We're going to have you play these games. Now, we don't think these games that we're having you play, we don't think they're perfect. We don't think they'll work in every curriculum, but we want to have you go take a look. These games aren't very taxing either on the students or the computer systems. So go ahead and take a look at them, take a little time playing them, and then go into the forums and tell us what you think about them. Now, this one is kind of the next one after this, the Eye of the Donkey, is kind of an oldie but a goodie. It's called Viking Quest. Now, Viking Quest is done by another organization that I don't know if you're aware that does games, and that's the BBC. The BBC has a wonderful website with lots of little games on it, and this is one of them, Viking Quest. Now, Viking Quest is something, it won't take a lot of time for you to go ahead and do, but all of these games, there's no reason that you can't pull them up, that you can't pull up a Google Hangout and play them with somebody. Or there's no reason you can't bring somebody over, and it doesn't matter. It could be your friend, your significant other, your kids, somebody else's kids. Bring them over and have a look at these games and see what you think about them. So for the rest of the week, go ahead, play one or all of these games. And then once you're done, go ahead and post them in forums. And when I say post this in forums, go ahead and take a screen capture. Okay? And that screen capture, go ahead and post it up on our Flickr site. And tell us, would you use it? Would you not use it? And especially if you found something better or have something better, please go ahead and share it with us. That's what a MOOC is about. Look, if you're a beginner to games and you're just learning about games, that's fine. Tell us about the games. But if you're a veteran and you're a gamer and you've been using games in your classroom, tell us about them. Tell us about what's better out there. Okay? And in that sense, what we really want to do is, besides posting in forums, we want you to be synchronous for this MOOC. So what we'd like you to do is we'd like you to really come onto Twitter with us. And on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, we're going to be doing a tweet chat. So we're going to do 60 minutes of Twitter discussion, and we're going to be discussing game-based learning and really talking about, well, what is it? Is it suddenly catching on now? How long has it been around? What are its attributes? And some of the readings that we've done this week, or the blogs or the videos you've looked at, should be able to inform it. And this is another opportunity for you to share. So we're going to have, we'll start with a quick intro. We'll do 4 questions, and the hashtag that we're going to be using is going to be #GameMOOC. And we will also be using the hashtag GBL, but so that people specifically know that it's from our MOOC, we'll be using the other one too. So that's on Wednesday. Now on Thursday, what we'll be doing is we'll be doing a broadcast, Google On Air. And it's going to be much more exciting because you're going to be hearing from a lot more than me. Okay? What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing a discussion of Jim G's Big G games. And we're going to have Marianne Malmstrom, Peggy Sheehy, and Bron Stuckey with us. And we'll also be having this discussion simultaneously on Second Life and Front Range. So if you're a person who goes into Second Life, please feel free to join us there. And there's more information on the website about this. And then on Saturday, we're going to be doing our field trip into virtual worlds. And if you're new to game-based learning and you're starting kind of slow, so you'll be doing Defer is Dying, and you'll be doing Eye of the Donkey. And then what you can do is, for this field trip, you can actually have a look at us on live stream and watch us in World of Warcraft. And we are going to be basically looking at the different things that Jim G talked about in his the live stream of his keynote. But if anybody is already a WoW player, feel free to join us. If you're not a WoW player, we would say is next week on Saturday we'll be doing an orientation, and I'd say come and join us then. So have a look this week at what WoW looks like, and then if you're new to WoW, go ahead and join us the week after that. If you're already on the Sisters of Elune US server, go ahead and drop us a line and let us know. We'll tell you where we'll be meeting for that field trip, because we are hoping to cover a couple different things there. So that's basically it when it comes to this. So let me go ahead and end the show, and let me toggle out. And let me pull up my next screen. Okay, so thank you guys very much. This was our intro for the first week. I hope you have lots of questions, but hopefully I gave a basic introduction of what we're doing for our MOOC, and then also what we're doing for the first week. Please go into discussions and leave those questions. Go ahead and join us for the tweet chat. Join us on Thursday for the discussions. And go ahead and let's just start playing. So for everyone who's joined us, thank you very much. And thank you for putting up with the toggling and for the talking head. And for our next session, we'll be having lots of other people join us. So thank you very much, and I'll be ending this broadcast now. Bye.